In this edition of INN CEO Talks, I'm joined by Ritch Wigham, the CEO and Director of Slave Lake Zinc. Ritch, welcome.
Well, thank you, Stuart. Very happy to be here.
Why don't we start by you giving us an overview of the company and your property?
Well, we're really well situated in the South Slave of the Northwest Territories, about 60 kilometers to Fort Resolution, 185 by air to Yellowknife. The communities in the South Slave are really what we're most concerned with Fort Smith, Hay River. Uh, those are the areas that we have friends in and we have dealt with, and we have a collaboration agreement with the Northwest Territory Metis Nation, which is headquartered out of Fort Smith. And our property is a historic lead zinc uh, situation. There are precious metals attached to that, but we are primarily looking right now to make sure people are aware that. And I misspoke. It's zinc lead. It's not lead zinc. And so our whole scenario is a very interesting one because it was generated, from partners that we had, that had uh, familial connection, going back into the 1940s. One of our directors and geologist, Glenn McDonald, his father was the head geo for a company called American Yellowknife Mines, which had several operations out working out of Yellowknife. This was one of them. And so Glenn was quite familiar with it. And when it came up for that it could be staked, he was able to go do that with his partner, Max Braden. Now, during that time and kind of post that time, the government of Canada had asked the different Indigenous groups to uh, basically put on a map where their historic interests were. And so a lot of the groups, of course, had overlapping interests, and different areas were kind of multi-claimed. Anyway, by doing this, what they did is they created a land withdrawal in the South Slave. And what that meant is there could be no development of any kind on those lands until the land claims were settled. We were lucky because our area was primarily, and I say primarily, with delicacy, with the Northwest Territory Metis Nation, who we were able to establish a very good relationship with and continue to do so, and allowed us to uh, have the land open up that we desired, and we were able to then stake it as you would stake land normally. Uh, from there, what we have and what we've been able to actually really prove is something that was strongly suggested in 53-4 by a fellow by the name of Monsi Prousty, who did his PhD thesis on the mineralization in the area that we have. He suggested it was likely a hydrothermal origin situation. Now, back in the 1950s, that was kind of a radical thought. Now, I don't believe it is. I think it's just an advancement in science and technology that's got us to where we are. We have flown basically not the entire property, but darn near, with 900 line kilometers at 50-meter spacing. And what that's done for us, and we just released that actually yesterday, so that all our scientists out there can take a good hard look to see how well our original mineralization matches up with all the other, as we call them, yellow lines on our geophysics, and what potentially we have on our property. In the fall, we were lucky enough to get a fellow out for a while who was able to prove up another really significant showing. It's certainly going to be 100 plus meters long, but he was only able to access about 80 meters of it because of overburden and other stuff like that. But that it was very significant because it closely matches up with the mineralogy that we have at what we call the head frame, which is where, of course, the first suggestion of a mining operation was put in by American Yellowknife Mines back in 51 too. So we have and are the only people to have done any modern uh, geology, geophysics on this area. And we have, I think, really well established that we have a hydrothermal environment, which means that our mineralization goes down to depths that, have never been tapped by the small amount of drilling that was done back in the 50s that, we have the data on, but we can't really uh, use because it's, 70 years old. So that's kind of the quick on where we are. Is that good?
That's good. So where are you at as far as knowing exactly what your project contains as far as a resource?
Holy cow. Um, our corridor is 15 kilometers long. It's going to be some level of mineralization throughout that. Um, you're talking potentially tens and tens and tens of millions of tons. We felt when we first picked up the property that we could pretty safely get to the 10 million ton mark. And in mining, as I'm sure you're aware, there's that 0 to 10, and then there's a 10 to 100, and then it's porphyries kind of idea. Well, we're pretty comfortable that we're going to be in the 10 to 100 category now. It's just a matter of, you know, uh, how much of it and who wants to delve into how deep, and the all the other mining things that we'll find out as we go along here. First and most important, I'd like to drill the property after Christmas, and we need to raise some money for that, and you know uh, move forward with it from there.
So investors who would be looking at you right at the moment, they would say, Rich, okay, why is now the right time for me to be getting involved with Slave Lake?
Well, the really most important thing at the moment is that we're going to have, and we've already been, approached from offshore and outside, people, because we are a critical metal, and the uh, government of Canada has declared, that zinc is a critical metal, and the interest in that, and making sure there's North American source. So the Cisco, which has Pine Point, that used to be at one point the single largest source of zinc in the world for production. Uh, Pine Point, we'll see how they work out with rehabilitating that and moving forward. But there aren't any more of those. The zinc is becoming a much more dear metal because there are not zinc mines. Now there's a new mine in Arizona, but they're looking at tremendous depths just to get to the deposit properly, where we're starting from surface. So as we move along, and our we've proven our hydrothermal theory, it's what we have. We should be a tremendous opportunity to be involved in now before we start having a great deal more interest as we move forward.
And so you're going to be raising some more money between now and when you start your drill program as well. Did I understand that
We may
correct?
or may not. We're not, you know, we're going to have to, get a drill, but we're not giving it away. We're not giving, our property away. We've done a lot of work, and we've advanced this through interaction with the local Indigenous communities. We were first to do that, and we're very proud of where we stand with all of those things. So we've de-risked this property a great deal
Mm-hmm.
already, as far as what we can do. So, um, there's a kind of the highest bidder, situation will occur no matter what mining area you're in. And so, we have something that that's of a value certainly much greater than where our current stock position is.
So you anticipate you'll have drills in the ground early next year, and then results will
Well,
follow.
we hope to.
Yeah,
We have a ground program that's been, designed, for covering the rest of the property,
yeah.
after, the snow comes off, in end of May sort of thing next year. And so, we're looking right now for strategic people to be involved with us. That's, I guess, the best way to put it. Um, if you're a shareholder, I would suggest, or not, I suggest it's a good idea to become a shareholder because we are and have, we have approaches from different strategic areas that we're, entertaining at this point. So um, we'll see how that works going forward.
Right now is a good time to invest, but if not, then keep an eye on Slave Lake Zinc because it sounds to me like you're going to have a fair bit of news coming out over the next couple of quarters to the next year.
The next year is going to have an awful lot of exciting things.
Right.
The development is only going to get larger and bigger. It's not. It's we designed the company for this scenario, and it's worked out really well, really well.
Well, I'm wishing you great success for a whole bunch of reasons, but also because, as you pointed out, this is a very essential and critical mineral that we need to have, and we need to have North American-based sources. I wish you great success.
Thank you, Stuart.
Yeah.
Greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for your time today.
Okay, thank you very much.